Maybe you faced issues in the past where you need to communicate with people, messages, technicalities, compliance issues, anything that has to do with our IT GRC field, unsuccessfully sometimes. Stakeholder management, talking to people, can be challenging. There is, however, a way to go about this. I have definitely faced the same issue, and I'm going to share my experiences as well as a solution that works 100% of the time. Let's have a look. Recently, I was in a networking event and I was talking to someone, and that person asked me, "Hey, Yanis, what do you not like about your career? What is something that bothers you or challenges you in a bad way or annoys you in the IT GRC space?" Before I go further, I want to clarify something. It is quite obvious, I believe, but anyway, this is just my personal opinion. These are my personal circumstances. This is the one thing that is the most challenging for me as Yanis in the space, in the IT GRC area. So this is a small caveat just to be clear. Now, jumping straight to the point. When that person in that networking event asked me, "Hey, what is your biggest struggle in the IT GRC area?" my first thought or my first reaction was the times that I had to deal with people that perhaps do not understand the repercussions and the consequences of IT GRC. What I've seen many times, and this is something I'm really noticing in every position that I hold or that I've held so far, is that there's always people. Of course, we have to deal with people, which is a fantastic thing, I believe. We have to expose ourselves and we have to communicate with people, with stakeholders from our business, from other businesses, from third parties, from regulators, from the general public. We need to be in touch and we need to explain things a lot of times. And my frustration lies in the fact that sometimes this interaction, this back and forth, is not easy for many different reasons. I was in a meeting with a business stakeholder, someone who is not into IT, obviously. That person specifically was from sales, and I was trying to explain to them why their application that they use should go through a certain threshold of IT preparedness, let's say, or IT maturity. So, for example, your application has to have encryption in place, your application has to have a proper access control process in place, or it has to be able to communicate with the internet in a safe way, for instance, or you need to apply some other safeguards in order to ensure that it is as secure as possible. Some of that interaction was, of course, great, and we managed to go a long way, but there were moments where I thought, oh, this person doesn't get it. This is something that is too complicated for someone who has zero IT knowledge. And this is something that is most of the time a challenge, trying to convince and trying to show people, okay, this is why we do this. This is why we need to keep our boat floating. We need to keep our application secure. We need to keep our connection secure. We need to keep our people educated. And we need to make sure that we follow the right regulations, we follow the policies that we have established, and so on and so forth. And in that sense, I thought, yeah, this is a challenge. This is something that takes effort. It takes a lot of attempts, sometimes successful, sometimes not successful as well, to get people to align with your message. Sometimes also it could be that we as IT GRC professionals have to align with their own world and their own circumstances, because granted, we don't know everything. We are not business facing. We work for IT and we are managing our security and IT maturity and our IT posture, but this is happening internally. And there's people out there that have more knowledge about how things are working at a wider level, at a greater scale that we are not familiar with. And this is also a bit of a back and forth that we need to educate, but we also need to be educated. And this is what makes the area that we are in quite engaging and quite interesting, because there's so much to learn and we are in the precipice of those elements, those domains. We are right in the middle of it, so we can be at the source of information, of knowledge, of ideas, and so on and so forth. Talking to people, interacting with people, stakeholder management is difficult. But you know what is not difficult? Hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, commenting, sharing, hitting the bell icon. Do me a huge favor, hit all of those, and keep watching until the end. Thank you so much. So I mentioned before that I was in a situation where I had a hard time explaining to that person I was talking to that they need to apply certain controls. And what I found the easiest way to explain or to highlight what I was talking about was to make it very practical and simplify it as much as possible. With that knowledge that those people are not experts in IT, they are not aware of the regulations that we need to comply with many times, not always, but many times. They are not aware that we need to put certain safeguards. They are not aware of the technicalities of those safeguards. And this is why we need to take a step back and we need to slow down. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, let's give you some examples so that you understand exactly what I mean. So instead of saying, hey, you need to encrypt your traffic, your data in transit, for example, have to be encrypted through a certain protocol, I explained that when the data flows from one location to the other, it is susceptible to bad guys trying to fetch it and trying to, either compromise it, get it for themselves, change it, and so on. And that is something that we need to be very careful of, especially if we're talking about sensitive data. So this is what you need to do. You need to put some protection in place. We can help you do that, or we can explain further how to do it. We can bring you in touch with the teams that are responsible to do that, and so on and so forth. It's a matter of communicating effectively and educating people in the best way possible. And this is also what is so exciting about this area, that we can actually train ourselves to be better at talking to people and be better at merging IT with other functions of our business, of an organization. I think this is the biggest challenge, and this is the most important and the most exciting thing that you will get in this space, or you are getting already if you're in this space. Now, I want another favor, last favor from you. Let me know down in the comments below if you have also struggled with this particular topic. And also, let me know, how did you manage to go about this? How did you manage to solve this problem? Or do you have any other struggles that you are facing, or you think you will be facing in this IT GRC area that you occupy? Now, if you found this video useful, you can check my videos here for extra useful content just for you. As always, stay safe and secure, both in the physical and the digital world. Until next time, take care.